Hello, everybody. So, I am a bit behind in my posting. You guys are actually going to see a couple of videos here um, that I shot weeks ago, and I am just now posting them. Um, so, bear with me. I hope you guys enjoy them. I did not edit them. I went on vacation to Wisconsin and came back and realized that I never posted them because I never edited them. So, here's the video, and I hope you enjoy. Morning, everybody. I was out here harvesting, and then it dawned on me, like, I could do a YouTube video. So far, harvesting beans. It's only a fraction of what I've harvested, and there's still a ton more here. So I figured, while I'm harvesting, we could have a little chat. So I want to tell you guys about my morning. I do have another business that I run, and I'm not going to name it here because it might offend some people, but I do have to do work for that. So it's kind of how I try to make some money to help offset the expenses of the homestead. Don't mind my jiggly arms. And I had every intention on coming out and doing a live video for that business. And then I noticed that the goat was around our sequoia tree. Now, we have a giant sequoia in our animal yard, and we have blocked it off with a fence because goats can eat the bark off of trees. Specifically, they love pine, but they will eat bark off of other trees as well. And it's a giant tree. I mean, it's massive. And I happen to love this tree. They don't want it to get eaten by my goats. So we put a fence around it. And this morning, when I came out, the goats and the pig were in the fence. Now, the last 3 days now, we have fixed the fence, or so we thought. And I thought that, everything was good. Everything was going to be all right. And that we were going to be able to keep the animals out of there. And I come out this morning to do my live. And wouldn't you know it, they're in there again. So I had to fix the fence again. And while I'm fixing the fence, I'm cussing and crying. And honestly, I'm going to be totally transparent. Actually, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. Why am I fighting with these animals every day? I'm not getting the milk right now. I am not eating the pig. Currently, these animals are not providing anything but entertainment and, love and affection, because the goats, a couple of them specifically, are very affectionate. So I was just at the end of my rope, and I was like, I'm done. I'm just going to get rid of everybody and rip out my garden. I was so mad. And then Henrietta came and sat on me. Now, for anybody who's been following our channel, you'll know that Henrietta actually hatched out some eggs not that long ago. Probably about almost 2 months ago now. Ever since then, she has not been very affectionate. Now, Henrietta, before she hatched out eggs and went broody, she was the most affectionate chicken. She'd come up and peck me on my ankles, and she would want attention and love and affection. And honestly, it was amazing. She's a great chicken. So I'm sitting on the ground in a pile of dirt and probably chicken and goat poop. I know, gross. I changed my clothes, don't worry. But I'm sitting there and I'm crying and I'm like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. And Henrietta came and sat on my lap. That chicken has not tried to get affection from me in over 2 months. Actually, it's been over 3 months, I think. She climbed on my lap and it just made me feel better, almost instantaneously. She is such an affectionate chicken. And it was just really nice to have that when I was feeling upset. So, thanks, Henrietta. Like, you reminded me why I'm doing this. And it's not just for the food, it's not just for the milk. It's also for the animals, for making sure they have a good life. Making sure that I know where my food is coming from. And even though it's tiring and stressful and exhausting sometimes, it's still totally worth it. So, I just realized that this might be the first time that some of you are seeing my newest tattoo. Right here. It's a tree of life. Okay. When we got married a few years ago, we gave our kids little necklaces that had the tree of life symbol on it. And my idea for that was because family, they say family tree, and I think they say it for a reason. Because we want our kids to branch out. We want them to live their own lives, produce their own fruit, and grow. But we also want our families to stay rooted. We want our families to stay together. I mean, most of us, obviously. There's some who might not feel the same way. But for me, it's extraordinarily important. It's actually one of the reasons why I chose to homestead. Because I want to leave my kids a legacy. I want to leave my kids with something where they can do what they love, what they want to do, and hopefully make an income enough to survive off of. I mean, we'll see if it works, but I've got big plans, so I think it'll be all right. So we're doing a little bit more research, trying to figure that out, and we do have a farm name. I'm not going to share with you what it is because I don't want to give it away.
Hey, Henrietta.
But we have a name. And speaking of Henrietta, she came over and wanted more pets. You're a sweet chicken. She will actually peck at me until I pick her up. I mean, usually, like, not always. Like, she hasn't for 3 months, but she must know I'm in a funk. Keep joking, she's my emotional support chicken. She's a good girl. I really like her. So, anyways, back to my tattoo. I have big dreams, and I have really struggled with that throughout my life. Honestly, I've really let fear rule me. I've let fear keep me from following my dreams. Henrietta, don't you dare eat my plants. Okay, come sit on my lap. She's ridiculous. I mean, who else? Do any of you guys have a lap chicken? Let me know in the comments. I don't know if you can post pictures in comments, but I will totally go check out Instagram or whatever if you link it. I'll look at your pet chickens, your lap chickens. But anyways, I have let fear rule me for far too long, and I've decided I'm not going to do it anymore. And one of the things that inspired me, like, years ago, I was looking for a quote for some reason. Came across this quote that says, "Be humble, for you are made of earth. Be noble, for you are made of stars." And it clicked. It really clicked in my brain. Like, I'm made of earth, but I'm also made of stars. And if I'm made of stars, why can't I reach the stars? Why can't I reach my dreams? If I am made of stars, which there's a whole bunch of scientific, thoughts about that we are actually partially stardust. But it really got me thinking. Like, if I'm made of stars, why am I so afraid? Now look at this. I love the way that they curl around the trellises like this. It's the coolest thing. Like my little basket. It's so cute. Okay, so this is my harvest basket, but it's also my farmer's market basket because dual purpose, right? So I had to make a decision that I was going to pursue my dreams, even if I failed. Because here's the thing, fear of failure is like a fear of learning. If you're not failing, how are you learning? And that's something I've had to remind myself a lot through the homesteading process, is that I want to make sure that I'm learning. I want to make sure that I'm embracing failure and not running from it. And for me, that was scary. It was really scary. So I made this conscious decision to stop. Oh, this one's stuck. Good. To stop running from failure and to start learning. In some ways that I've done that this year is I started seeds my very first time, like from seed. I started plants from seed for my very first time, successful anyways. Like I've tried before and it just never worked. But I did a lot of research, watched a lot of YouTube videos. That's actually where I learned a lot of the things that I'm using right now. And that's kind of what I'm hoping to do here, is to help you guys see that sometimes you just gotta start. In my garden right now, I mean, this bed's okay, but honestly, a lot of it is overrun with weeds. A lot of it is not well planted or well spaced. A lot of it's kind of a science experiment. But I'm growing food successfully. I mean, look at all these beans. And that's just part of them. I have plants I haven't even harvested yet. Like, I grew this. I mean, the plant grew this. I harvested it. But it's a feeling of accomplishment. Like one I've never had before. Watching my tomato plants grow. Watching all my plants grow. It's exciting. Every fruit, every piece of fruit, everything I harvest from the garden is met with excitement, met with joy. I mean, it's not the cutest little squash, but it's a little squash, and I grew it. I mean, I planted it, and it grew, and I harvested it. The plants do the growing. I just do the sowing. Guys, check out that squash blossom. Isn't that not the prettiest? Spoke too soon. Look at that beauty. Look at all this. But you see what I'm saying about it being overrun with weeds? I mean, this is not the greatest garden, guys. Not at all. I mean, there's plenty of blossoms, but there's also plenty of weeds. But, I mean, it's kind of what doing a garden is. It's learning as you go. It's not always getting it right, especially the first time around. Like, more weeds. But, like, this is the biggest garden I have ever grown successfully. And I'm damn proud of it. Weeds and all. I mean, I know what to do better next year. But if I hadn't started it, if I'd let fear of failing rule me, I wouldn't have any of this. Garden's kind of where I go to get away from it all. Enjoy some peace and quiet. Get some food for the fam. And it's really become my happy place. I'm honestly surprised with how much peace I get in the garden. I'm amazed, actually. It has been intensely therapeutic, extraordinarily rewarding. A lot of work, but work I do mostly happily. The weeding and I don't get along, but I don't know anybody who enjoys weeding. I mean, sometimes when I get mad, I like to come out here and rip stuff out of the garden, but I'm usually a pretty patient, calm person, so that doesn't happen too terribly often. My homestead is not what I want it to be right now, guys. It's not the picture perfect thing I had in my mind. It's a work in progress. And honestly, it's going to be a work in progress for a long time. It is, I don't know if it'll ever be complete. And I'm okay with that. I wanted to start homesteading to grow myself, to grow food, to grow my connection to the earth, to the animals that produce my milk, my meat, my eggs. I wanted to make sure that I was being a good steward and that I was caring for all of the things that I feel like I should be caring for. I mean, this isn't for everybody. This life is not, it's not easy. I mean, there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of rewards, there's a lot of feeling pride in the hard work that you put in. There's also a lot of struggle. There's death. There's the stress of having to repair a fence before you've even had your morning coffee. It's a struggle. But it's worth it. It really is. And I'm so very glad that I stopped letting fear rule me. I'm so very glad that I pushed through that in order to follow my dreams. I'm so very glad that I have so much food that I don't even know what to do with half of it. But don't worry, I'll figure it out. We will be preserving some stuff here. I'm proud of this garden. I'm proud of the way it looks, even though it's not perfect. I'm proud of the way it's growing, even though Lord knows it needs some help. I'm proud of me for pushing past the very real fear of failure and deciding that I am made of earth, but I am also made of stars. And I can be humble and reach for the stars all at the same time. And honestly, I don't know if there's a better feeling than that. Realizing that you are worth it. That you have potential. And that you can reach your goals. It's pretty awesome, guys. So wherever you are, if you're interested in doing this life, don't let fear stop you. Don't let the excuses of what if it doesn't work? What if I plant something and it dies? What if I get chickens and I decide I don't like them? What if I want to raise meat birds and then realize I can't butcher anything because it's too emotional for me. Just get into it. Get into it. Find out if you like it. Find out what your passions are. And you know what? What's the worst that's going to happen? It's not going to work out, right? Your garden is going to fail. Well, then you learn more. Then you take the lessons that you learned from the failure. You take the lessons that you learned from the failed garden, from the chickens who wouldn't lay, from the butchering that you thought you could do but you can't, and you have to hire somebody else to do it. There's no shame in any of that. That's how we learn. We learn about who we are, what's important to us, what our values are. And there's a movement, guys. There's a movement that's happening right now. And people are realizing that we need to be better connected to our food. And we need to be better connected to each other. And one of the great things about homesteading is there's such a strong community around it. We go to the farmers market every weekend. Well, most every weekend. And the amount of positive interactions, the amount of great relationships that we've started there with our other local farmers and local artisans, it's truly an amazing experience. It is the community that has come along with this just from starting to go to the farmers market. I wanted to eat local more frequently, and I had gone to farmers markets when we were in Wisconsin, and they were good, but there was only like maybe a handful of farmers. There wasn't a big community there. And here they have a winter market, which I never had in Wisconsin. They have the farmers market that meets twice weekly in the summer, and the community, the people, it's so amazing. And I know that I'm going to build even stronger bonds with a lot of these people, because I'm hoping next year with our new business to be at the farmers market. There's a bee. Guys, do you see this bee right now? Let's see if I can help without disturbing it. It's like right, never mind. I'll just let the bee do its thing. I love seeing the little pollinators in my garden. You know, when I was a kid, I was actually wild. Like, I used to catch bees. Usually in a sour cream container. I would come up on flowers that they were on and gently close it over them. At one point, I actually had like 6 bees in the container. And it was these fuzzy little bumblebees, like the one that's just flying around right now. And that's actually how I got stung the first time. Which, serves me right. I was a dumb kid. I didn't know any better. But I love bees. I've always loved bees. I'm really glad I'm not allergic to them, because that would suck. But I like watching them buzz around my garden. So, don't let fear rule you. You're going to fail. I have failed in some ways. This garden it's a mess. There's weeds right here, right here behind me. Like, there's weeds right here behind me. But I'm still growing food. Is it as productive as it could be? Is it as successful as it could be? Probably not. But I still have an abundant harvest. Like, this is a small harvest. And honestly, I'm not done yet, guys. I still have to go get my zucchinis. I still have to harvest more beans. And what else do I need to harvest? I have to look over my tomato plants, see if anything's ripened. Another thing is, I got this garden started way late. It is August now, and I still don't have tomatoes that have ripened. I got my tomatoes in the ground late, but in a way it worked out. Because a lot of people lost their tomatoes to a late frost. And I actually was able to sell tomato plants, tomato starts, to a lot of people who were looking for starts right around the time I planted mine, because they also, they did plant on time. So there are other people who are in the same boat as me. I planted a lot of stuff late. I wasn't on time. I'm new to this growing zone. There's a lot of things that went in the ground. I should be getting a lot more food, but I still did it. That whole Nike thing. Just do it, you know, like it's more than just sports. It's life. Just do it. If there's something you want to do, just do it. Like, trying is better than not trying. Because if you don't try, you don't know. Well, guys, I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to watch my bee friends a little bit. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.